board in the house and I'm in the house board. A board in the house and I'm in the house board. A board in the house and I'm in the house board and a board in the house and I'm in the house board. Board in the house, board in the house, board. Board in the house, board in the house, board. Y'all didn't think I was going to say a potty word, did you? Nah, not here. Inappropriate. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Today we are doing 7th grade intensive math 11 through 20. Let's go ahead and get started. A music store sold $100,000 in merchandise in 2015. The store increased its sales in merchandise from 2015 to 2016 by 21%, or about 20%. Close to 20%. This music store then additionally increased its sales in merchandise by 29%, about 30%. From 2016 to 2017, which expressions represent a strategy for estimating the totals of merchandise of the store in 2017? This estimating helps us out. That's why I knew to round the 21% to 20% and the 29% to 30%, because we are estimating. It does not have to be exact here, okay? So what we want to do is we want to take our 100,000 and we want to multiply it by all of it plus that 20% for the first year. So when we add 100% plus 20%, that's 120%, or 1.2. 100, okay. 100 plus 20% gives us 120%, and that's as a percentage, and to change it to a decimal form, we move our decimal 2 times to the left, which gives us 1.2. And then to do that for the same for the next year would be 1.3, because 100% plus 30% gives us 130%. And to change that into a decimal format, 130% to a decimal, we move it 2 times to the left, and that's 1.3. So our answer choice here is going to be A. Okay, number 12, Ian went to the music store to buy a guitar. The guitar which he picked out was $350. That's expensive. He found out there was a sale that day and all guitars were 20% off. Yay! Since he had a rewards card at the music store, he was able to also receive 5% off the sales price. How much did Ian pay without tax for the guitar? So we can figure that out by multiplying $350, which was the original price, times 20% off. If we are taking 20% off, we are not paying 100% of the price anymore. We are taking 20% off of that. So 100 minus 20 gives us 80%. So we could multiply 350 times 0.8, which is 80%. We move our decimal, again, 2 times to the left, and that's 0.8. And that would give us, I don't know this off the top of my head, obviously. Okay, that would give us 280. So that is how much the guitar is after the sales price is on. And then he's got a rewards card, which he gets 5% off the sales price. So then we multiply our sales price times 5% off. So 100% of the price minus 5% gives me 95%, or 0.95. So we could multiply this times 0.95 and figure out our cost. And that gives us $266. That is how much we will pay before taxes. So our answer is A again. Okay, number 13. Which of the following expressions is correct? If you'll notice, all of these have negative 7.5 times 3 at the beginning. And we want them to all equal 0. So first we need to figure out what negative 7.5 times 3 is. So 7.5 times 3, 3 times 5 is 15, carry the 1. This is 21 plus 1 is 22, so 22.5, but it is negative because negative times a positive gives us a negative. So all of these are starting out with negative 22.5s. Oops. And remember, when we have two opposites, that equals 0. So if we have -5 plus 5, that's 0. -25 plus 25 gives us 0. -1,000 plus 1,000, 0. Okay, so what we want is we want to add this to a positive 22.5. Well, 20 plus 21, 20 plus 1 gives us 21. So this does not equal 0. 21 plus 2.5 gives us 23.5, which again does not give us 0. Negative 22.5, 20 plus 2.5 gives us 22.5. So this does give us 0. This actually works out. C is correct. But let's double check. 20 plus 3.5 gives us 23.5 again, and that does not equal 0. So our answer choice here should be C. Okay, number 14, the temperature in the town of Greenville is now 0 degrees. That's what it is right now. For the past 16 hours, the temperature has been decreasing at a constant rate of 4 degrees per hour. So each hour, it goes down 4 degrees. What is the temperature in Fahrenheit degrees 10 hours ago? Well, 16 hours ago, it was 4 times 16, right? So 10 hours ago would be 4 times 10, which would be 40 degrees. B. That one seemed more complicated than it actually was. Okay. Below the table shows the results of an experiment with a spinner from a board game. It's giving you the table for each of the colors, and it says calculate the experimental probability for green. Remember, experimental probability is what actually happened. So we're going to take that 30 and we're going to divide it by 98, which is our total. The 30 represents the green and the 98 represents the total. So 30 divided by 98. And to make this easy, I'm going to do this in my calculator. So 30 divided by 98 gives me a really long number. Okay, but we're talking about rounding this so that we can get a percentage. So here is this as a decimal. Okay, but if we rounded this as a percentage, we need to first move our decimal 2 times to the left to make it a percent. So it would be this as a percent, but then if we rounded that to the hundredths place, we look back, that 2 is not enough to bump it up, so it would stick as 30 and 61/100%, which is A. There's a lot of A answer choices. Well, hello. There's a lot of A answer choices here. Okay. What is the probability the statue bought by a specific person was glass or a squirrel? Well, here is the glass column, and here's the squirrel column. We are not going to double up this 5 because it's in both, right? We're just going to use it once because it's either a squirrel or glass here, right? So we are adding all 3 of these numbers together, 9 plus 9 plus 5. 9 plus 9 is 18, and 18 plus 5 gives me 23. We want to figure out what that percentage is out of the total amount. And the total would be 23 plus 12, right? Because 12 is the only one that we did not add in. So 23 plus 12 gives me 35. So we are going to do 23 divided by 35 to get our answer. 23 divided by 35 gives us this big long decimal. Again, when we have a decimal and we want to change it to a percent, we do move our decimal 2 times to the right. So this would be about 65 and 71/100%, which is A again. What do you know? I don't know how that worked out. Okay. Where all these are answer choice A. I don't even know. Okay, which expression properly identifies the graph below? Okay, well, first things first. Y'all will learn this a lot more in 8th grade, but because you work with lines and graphs a lot in 8th grade. This is our y-intercept because it is on the line, the y-axis, okay? It is where our line crosses the y-axis. Here, right here is the, okay. This one down the middle is our y-axis, okay? So this point here is where it crosses that y-axis. So that number is what goes after the plus or minus on the end. So if it is a positive 2, it'll be plus 2, okay? All of these except for C have plus 2. This has plus 2, this has plus 2, this has plus 2. So all of these could be correct. C is not correct because it has minus 2. It is not minus 2. It is not crossing at the negative 2 on the y-axis. It's at the positive 2. So then we have to find the slope. The slope is how much you go up and how much you go over. So to get from this dot to this dot, we go up 1 and over 2. So up 1, over 1, 2. So it's going to be 1 over 2, and our line is going in a positive direction. It's going up, so that is positive. And because that is a positive line, our 1/2 is going to be positive. And you just put that number next to x, and it is equal to y. This is very sloppily done, my apologies. Y equals 1/2 x plus 2. This is our correct formula. Sorry, our correct equation. Okay, so B is not correct because it has a negative 1/2. Okay, and A is not correct because it has 2 over 1 and not 1 over 2. So our answer choice here is going to be D. No longer A. Yay! Okay, number 18. The length of a rectangle is 7/8 inches, and its width is 16 over 21 inches. Calculate the area for the rectangle in squared inches. Remember, if we've got a rectangle, we are just doing the length times the width or base times the height. Okay, so A equals BH or A equals LW. Base times height or length times width. They mean the exact same thing, so it does not matter which formula to choose because they're the same thing. So our length is 7/8 inches and our width is 16 over 21. What I would do here first is cross multiply. That's essentially just cross dividing, right? Because we need to figure out what number goes into both 7 and 21. Well, 7 goes into 7, so 7 goes into 7 once. 7 goes into 21 3 times. And then here we can cross cancel by cross dividing, and this would be we would divide them both by 8. So 8 divided by 8 is 1, 16 divided by 8 is 2, and now we can just multiply straight across. So 1 times 2 gives me 2, and 1 times 3 gives me 3. So my answer is 2/3 square inches. Okay, so our answer choice is A again. What do you know? We're back to A's. Okay, it says protons are positive while electrons are negative. Sodium has a neutral charge. Okay, that means just as many protons as there is electrons. Okay, remember, positive 5 plus negative 5, 0. Positive 8 plus negative 8, 0, right? So just as many protons as just as many electrons, that is a neutral charge. Okay, so sodium has 11 protons. How many electrons does it have? Well, again, we have to have just as many protons as we do electrons. So if we have 11 protons, we need 11 electrons. So our answer choice here is D. It is not going to be a negative 11 because we had already told us that our electrons are negative. So you don't want a double negative because a double negative would equal a positive. We don't want that. Okay, so it's just saying that we have 11 electrons. It is understood that they are negative. Okay, so review the number line below. Which of the following is correct? Okay, so negative 5 plus 5 equals negative 1. So we're at negative 6 plus 5 equals negative 1. If we're at negative 6, when we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right, we do equal negative 1. So that's correct. Let's see about the other ones. Negative 6 plus 5 is positive 1. Well, we just did that, and we already saw that it was not positive 1, so that's not correct. Negative 6 minus 5 is negative 1. If we're subtracting, we are going this way, which is further away from negative 1, so that won't work. And negative 6 plus 5 does not give us 0 because we already did that and it got us negative 1. So that is not correct. Our answer here is A. Surprise, surprise. Okay, I hope you guys have a fantastic day. That's all we have for you guys today. Please email me, call me, message me if you need any help at all. I hope you guys are doing fantastic. I miss you, and I'll see you later. Bye.